welcome to BizTech on Ghana Web TV with me, Ernestina Sewa Asante. On BizTech, we serve you some stories that made headlines in the week and an interview a member of the business desk had with an expert. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from the break. So on Monday, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram users were unable to access their accounts due to a global shutdown. The apps, which subsequently came back online, had users initially worried over their data and how secured their information were on the apps. My colleague Mauli Aholumega had a discussion with a cybersecurity and investigations consultant, Philemon Hini, on the growing development. Here is the full report.
On Monday, 3 social media platforms experienced a 6-hour-long halt, namely Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. As a result of this, users were unable to access their account, with some experiencing crashes and glitches. To unpack the recent development, I'll be speaking with the acting principal consultant at the E-Crime Bureau, which is the Cybersecurity and Investigations Bureau, and we'll be delving into the cybersecurity threats and how to counter them. Welcome to BizTech on Ghana Web TV. My name is Mauli Aholumega. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that break. Before I delve into the conversation, the acting principal consultant here at the E-Crime Bureau, Philemon Hini, will be taking us through the salient steps on how they counter cybersecurity threats right here at their lab at the E-Crime Bureau.
So this is actually our managed security service.
Okay.
So what we normally do is that we monitor our client's network for cyber threats, and we quickly respond and remediate the threats before it becomes, an incident.
Okay.
So on the dashboard here, you will normally see the guys monitoring, or the team monitoring incidents that are reported, or events within the environment. So say a computer is infected with, let's say, a malware. Okay, so it pops out there, and we are able to go in and locate that very computer, do some analysis to establish the capability of the malware, and also, let's say, the impact on the environment. Then based on that, we follow certain procedures to eliminate it from the network. So it's a kind of 24/7 thing where you have people keeping their eyes in the network, because if you don't do that, you don't know when it will become, a serious incident.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's going on the other?
Okay.
screen?
So this one, what we just projected, or what we have here, is more of like our training programs, our online training programs. So usually, one of the things that we do is the E-Crime Bureau, with our expertise. We are 10 years. Okay.
Yes, 10
so
years, yeah.
With our expertise in the industry, we train a lot of people. But these days, this time we have tried to digitalize most of the training programs so that people can, take their training at their own convenient, time. Yes. So that is what we do. But coming here also, as we don't just do cyber security, we do something we call digital forensics.
Okay.
The whole concept is that security is not 100%. Okay, you can have security, say 80%, but at 20% is your insecurity. So how do you manage this insecurity? You manage it by ensuring that you can respond to any attack within that 20% range before it tends to be a serious problem to your organization. So we do digital forensics.
Okay.
So if your security fail, we have to come in to do the investigations to understand how the attack occurred, which vulnerability was exploited, what is the impact.
So you look at the timelines and all that. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, you are actually an investigator. So we look at the timelines, establish the root cause. Okay, so as part of doing that,
so before you go, I don't know what devices. What devices?
Okay, so this device is Celebrite.
Okay.
Celebrite is one of the leading digital forensic tools out there in the world.
All right.
And what it does is that when maybe you are conducting an investigation, there's a mobile device involved, like a mobile phone, iPhone, Android, Huawei. Okay, we have to extract or make a copy of that phone.
Okay.
By extracting every data, your chat, your deleted information, So these two help us to do that. So once we connect it with these various cables that we have here, on to your phone, we are able to pull out all the messages, and even the ones that you have deleted.
Wow.
So say you send some text message, you quickly deleted it, or
So
a picture.
nothing ever gets deleted.
Technically no. To some extent, deleted information are still able to recover. So this helps us to be able to do that. And even with drones, these days people are using drones a lot. Okay, and drones can be used in crimes, like maybe delivering some contraband, material and other things. So in case we intercept any of them, we're able to also use these to do the extraction of that information. So aside that, also we have various tools that we use that aid us in terms of our investigations to be able to get to the roots and do a root cause analysis and be able to inform security. So once we are done with our investigations, we are able to know what caused the issue. Then we are able to advise you as to how you should what mechanisms you put in place to ensure that we are able to beef up your security.
Okay.
So basically, on a daily basis, that is what we do. We have team members here who have been doing research. Okay, so on incidents, what is happening within the industry, and also send advisory through our cyber threat intelligence portal to inform our customers to be ahead of the cyber criminal. One thing I hate when people tell us that the criminals are always ahead of us. So to be ahead of us, we need R&D, we need a lot of research so that we can also be ahead of them. And that is what exactly we do here on a daily basis.
Philemon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you've been hearing from Philemon, and he's taking us through what goes on right here at the E-Crime Bureau's lab and how to go ahead of the criminals that will tend to attack you. Now, we'll be engaging a conversation on the WhatsApp, Facebook shutdown that occurred recently. Enjoy the conversation. I'm sure you understand what happened on Monday. What was your first initial reaction when you found out that Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp were down?
I thought I was out of data. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So, because as at the time, actually, I think I was training and I had to relay some information to my colleagues back in the office. So, I sent a WhatsApp message on our group. So, I was actually expecting an instant response because it was quite urgent. But I went back again. I realized that the message wasn't delivered. Usually you take one in a group to indicate that it has been delivered. So I followed up with a series of messages. Within a few seconds, I went back again to check. It wasn't. So I was in the process of, going to buy data because I thought perhaps I've run out of data. And something dawned on me to check my balance first, my data first, and I realized that I had data. So I thought maybe the network is doing its own thing again. So let me just give it some time. So I went back to training. It was actually a whole day training. So after the training, I realized that still messages were not delivered. So as usual, I normally check things on Twitter, not specifically to find out whether there was something wrong with WhatsApp, but it's just a daily routine. So I went to Twitter and then I saw messages about people complaining about, messages not being delivered on WhatsApp. And people were saying all sorts of things, so that's why I got to know that actually there's a problem because social media was just going, so crazy as at the time. Yes.
So the shutdown lasted for 6 hours, according to Facebook. And but from your point of view, a lot of businesses rely on these platforms to transact, even individuals also as techs. I know it's early days, yes, but have you been able to ascertain the impact of this 6-hour shutdown?
Yes, certainly. As much as maybe I will not be able to put figures to it as to how much it costs organization, but yes, of course, some institutions have come out to say that it has cost them greatly. But I think it has cost most institutions in that, for instance, if you look at our local context here in Ghana, most people, use Facebook or Instagram to sell their products, to engage with people, to advertise. They have people even have events. Okay, they stream. Okay, their events on social media. So just imagine social media is off. You're having an event in which you want to stream and your audience are online. What's going to happen to you? So people were greatly affected. Comments didn't go on. People were not able to buy and sell. And I think one other thing that's also impacted organization is that you realize that in most applications these days, when you try to register or log on, they give you the option to use either Facebook to log on without creating an account, okay, like a kind of a single sign-on. So even I also do that. Most of my services that I access online, sometimes I don't use I don't recreate a profile again, so I have to just rely on the social media to use as a means to authenticate the platform. So now Facebook is not working. How do you authenticate this platform? It becomes very difficult. And if this platform is something that is supposed to, facilitate your business or enable you to achieve certain goal, then after that point, you are not going to achieve that goal. And also, aside that, people also use social media to relay vital information. So meaning that this communication has been cut as at this time. So that information is not going to reach these people any longer. And again, Facebook itself, it costs them a lot. Okay, I think I read in one of the articles that it cost them about 6 million or so. Some people were saying 7 million or so. Why? Because yes, Facebook's business model is on advertisements. So once people are clicking the ads, they are getting money. So if we are down for about 6 hours, just imagine the whole world, about 3.5 billion users, and no one is clicking on any ads. Just imagine how much it's going to cost them. So actually, it costs them a lot of money. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm sure this has greatly impacted a lot of individuals and businesses. But now let's come to some, rumors that are out there that it's a bunch of kids on the dark web just trying to steal people's data or disturb Facebook and all these other platforms. What's your take on that?
Okay, so initially, when I went to Twitter and I realized that people were saying all sort of things, I didn't know what to believe in, but as an expert in cybersecurity, certainly I know there is an issue, and if there's an issue, it could be systemic issues, it could be deliberate attacks. So I didn't side with any of those information, but I took it as maybe a form of intelligence. Okay, so yes, at a point, I almost even convinced myself that this could be an attack because, prior to even this shutdown, Facebook was also going through some, whistleblower legal issues with Congress and other things. So I even read an article that somebody indicated that Facebook intentionally shut down to, wipe certain information, So as at the time, you didn't know what was happening. But I think after, let's say, they came live, at least we were able to get some few information out there, read some few information out there as to what happened. So I think most of the information that I got was that it was kind of a human error. Okay, so basically Facebook has huge computers or data centers, scattered across the globe. Okay, and whenever you want to, let's say, access WhatsApp, you have to connect to one of these data center to retrieve information or to process the data. So there are systems, there are network backbones that makes you connect to these services. So just imagine the whole internet as a kind of a spider web. Okay, and at each very node there's a computer, at each very point there's a computer. So if you want to communicate, you usually will communicate to the nearest computer. Then the nearest computer will relay the information to the other till it gets to its destination. So according to them, on a daily basis or on a regular basis or on a scheduled basis, they do maintenance on the system to either add to capacity or to test their connectivity or to identify the issues before it becomes incidents. So as part of that, they issued a command to check their access to some of the data centers to the internet. But apparently, the command that they issued was contained certain errors. And according to them, they claim that they have a good auditing system that could have audited and identified the problem before the date occurred. But also there was some kind of weakness in that procedure. So the command went through, and instead of the command going to check the availability to the internet, it's rather disabled all the data centers from the backbone. Okay. So the backbone is the internet that glues all these data centers together, or the network that glues all these internet data centers together. So what the command did was that it isolated all the data centers from the backbone, so they couldn't communicate to each other. And as part of the network that they have, there is one component in it that is responsible to ensure that all their services is accessible by everyone on the internet. So this device, because the data centers were disabled from the backbone, itself couldn't even reach its own internal network. So the system also became confused. That why am I not getting to my internal network? And this system is responsible to also tell the outside world, you and I, that this is where Facebook is and this is how you are able to reach it. And because now it is confused about its own network, it decided to tell the internet that, hey, our network is no longer available, so delete it from your record. So that was deleted, which we called, you usually call it the BGP protocol. So that information or that records or that map which would tell the world where to locate Facebook was deleted by the instruction of this internal server, which we call the DNS. Okay, so that was taken off. Now, ISPs systems out there in the internet didn't know how to find Facebook. So it was very difficult to reach Facebook as at the time, and this is what caused the outage. And now they are blaming it on internal errors. But one thing that also Facebook said, which made them take a longer time to recover, was that now that the systems were isolated from the internet, they have to certainly assess it to be able to address the issue. And how do you assess it? Under normal circumstance, two ways: remote access or physical access. And I've already said that these systems are scattered over the world. So how are you going to do it? So the best way is to use the remote access. And now that they are not hooked up onto the network, it was difficult for them to access it remotely. So they have to resort to the physical access. But Facebook has designed their system according to the internal information. They have designed their system in such a way that it's very difficult to have physical access to protect our data. So they have implemented certain physical security controls, like access controls, to restrict physical access to those servers. So now that they have done that, now you see security has become a blockade. So now they have to find a way, or a secure way, to fly people to the various centers where the servers affected are, to be able to go and reconfigure or address the issues. So that is what took them a very long time in terms of getting physical access to the system to go and resolve the issues. And one thing about the internet is that after they resolve the issues, the DNS server, or the server which is supposed to tell the world how they can locate Facebook, they have to re-update it with the map so that our service providers across the globe will be able to know where Facebook is located. So once they did that, it takes time to propagate across the entire computers in the world. So you realize that when Facebook came up, though it was up, they fixed the issue. Not all of us were able to access it immediately. Some countries said they were able to access it. Some people said they couldn't still access it. So, but at the end of the day, it took some time to propagate for us to be able to access it. So, in summary, that is what really happened. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much. I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. Yeah, I've been speaking with Philemon Heaney, and he's the acting principal consultant at the E-Crime Bureau, and we've been talking about the recent Facebook shutdown and its implications. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
Welcome back from that break. I've been speaking with Philemon Heaney, and he's the acting principal consultant here at the E-Crime Bureau, which is a cybersecurity and investigations firm. Philemon, you've been explaining some very technical things to me, which is quite good. Now I want to come to, I read something when the shutdown happened. What's the difference between a glitch and then a crash?
Okay, so let's say in the context of IT, but let's look at it from this angle also. I think some years ago we all witnessed the Boeing, which crashed, and a lot of people lost their life through that plane crash. Now, yes, experts came to say that the issue was a software glitch. Okay, that led to the crash. So to use this one to explain the difference between the glitches and the crash. Okay, so glitches could be, let's say, a kind of malfunction. Okay, it could be some kind of failure. It could be some kind of error. Okay, that could lead to a catastrophic, maybe an event like crash. So crash could be maybe the thing could shut down. Okay, and that is exactly what happened to the plane at the time. You realize that the glitches, which is a misconfiguration or a bug, okay, or an error in the software system, led to a crash of the plane, which was total damage. And total damage could be disintegration or even total shutdown. Okay, so a glitch could lead to a crash. So I believe this. So now in the context of IT, okay, you can have, let's say, a software, and in configuring in configuration of the software, you can make a mistake in it. So when the software starts operating, it will malfunction, and when it continuously exhibit that behavior, it could lead to a shutdown, and that shutdown could be unexpected shutdown could be termed as what, a crash. Yes.
Thank you very much. Now I want to come to the data, especially back home. We have a lot of Ghanaians that use all these platforms, especially Facebook, WhatsApp, and then Instagram. Most of our parents are always on WhatsApp, sending us videos and all of that. Should we be worried that in terms of data, with the shutdown that happened, have we lost some data?
Okay, so I think as at this time, I've been also monitoring the incident, but Facebook hasn't come out to say that this shutdown led to data loss, and I don't think most people has also come up to say that they have lost data. So I would say, based on the available information that we have now, I'm not sure people have lost their data. In any case, people who attempted to send data and they didn't deliver. It delivered after the network was restored. So we don't have any information or any evidence out there that suggests that this issue led to data loss. Yes, we don't.
Yeah. So recently, just yesterday, the communications minister made a call on the Ghanaian tech community to develop our own apps. Yeah. What do you make of this call on them, and what do you think our Ghanaian tech community should be doing to ensure that maybe in the future we can have our own social media platforms?
For me, I think this is not the first time that maybe a nation has come out to say that they want to develop their own social network. Okay, it's more about data localization, because when you think about the data that we share among the social media platform, they are not within our jurisdiction. So if there's a crime or there's anything that require that you have to request for information, our laws do not give us that power to be able to do that, unless you use maybe the various bilateral or agreement or multilateral agreement that we have with the member countries or the country in question. So if the minister is saying that this is a wake-up call for us to develop our own app, for me, I think yes, it's good. Data will be localized and we'll be able to manage our own social media space. But you see, social media is not just about, let's say, a particular nation. Okay, it's social, it's global. So the question is, what other people, are we going to develop it in such a way that other countries will also be using our platform? Because that's what brings innovation. Okay, that is what brings globalization. That is what merges the whole world together, and that is the beauty about it. Okay, currently most people have attempted to develop the app, but people didn't patronize it. I quite remember some time ago when WhatsApp came up with these privacy issues. A lot of people have to run away or move to Signal. It didn't take them long, and they came back to WhatsApp. So for me, these are things that we have to think about. How are we going to get people to use it? How attractive is it going to be? What are we going to do different from WhatsApp? Is it going to be better than the platform? Okay, and these are things that are going to make people, jump onto the platform. So for me, I wouldn't say it's not a good thing. It's a good thing, but we have to look at what is outside there and do something better, so that the younger generation will be able to patronize it and also attract other people from other countries to be able to use it. And this is what will make the platform usable and attractive to everyone. Yes.
Now I want to come down to we're almost at the end. I want to come back to cybersecurity, and incidents of cyber fraud. It keeps rising. What do you think we should be doing in terms of regulations and all of that to ensure that cybersecurity regime is robust? Because the threats keep coming almost every single day.
Yeah. Yes. Cybersecurity, of course, no one is immune to cyber attacks. Organizations are being attacked here and there, and not just in Ghana alone. But currently, you will see that most institutions have started building capacity quite recently, and even now, we are in the cybersecurity month. So what I would say is that organizations shouldn't just use a certification as a protection, because currently we are aware most institutions are getting some kind of industry certification to ensure that they align their organization to a particular standard. But we shouldn't just be comfortable with that. We should keep on monitoring. We should keep on, assessing our weakness each and every day to know where the attackers are, the avenue through which the attackers are also using. So, and also involving the end users also in terms of creating their awareness, trying to build, some kind of cybersecurity culture, because at last there's a culture that also protects us. Because if I believe in something, you know how people defend their beliefs. You don't force them. Okay, they just defend it. As a Christian, if you meet a Christian, you try to go into an argument with him, no one empowers him to defend. Okay, so cybersecurity has to be like that. We have to let people understand that it's a culture. We have to create an environment where people are able to feel confident to speak about incidents. People are able to feel confident to report issues. Because these days, the end users, sometimes they identify issues but they don't report it, and it escalates to become an incident. So for me, I think that we shouldn't just rely on the certification, but what we have to do is that we should continuously assess our weakness as an organization. We should put measures in place so that we have full visibility within our environment to ensure that each and every day the threats are identified and neutralized. Yes.
Philemon, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Yes, so I've been speaking with Philemon Heaney, and he's the acting principal consultant here at the E-Crime Bureau, which is a cybersecurity and investigations bureau. He's been my guest on this week's edition of BizTech. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Maulia Holumega, for that eye-opening report. Up next is Biz Headlines. Stay tuned. To our very first story on the ongoing SIM card re-registration exercise, the National Communications Authority has said the ongoing SIM card re-registration exercise is expected to propel economic transformation in Ghana. According to the Director General of the authority, the exercise will ensure that Ghana becomes one of the first African countries to have a SIM ecosystem. With a robust SIM registration exercise, we are sure that Ghana will become one of the first African countries to have a SIM ecosystem that will have integrity and acts as a cornerstone for rapid transformation of the economy. By our coordinated efforts, we encourage that the SIM card registration exercise will subsequently complement the efforts of cybersecurity stakeholders in fighting the growing sophistication in cyber-related threats and crimes. To our second story, which is on Neoplan Ghana, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has announced government's decision to absorb Neoplan Ghana Limited into its industrialization initiative, the One District, One Factory. The company, which was first established in 1974 as a bus manufacturing firm for Ghana's public transport fleet, has in recent times been on the decline due to an array of challenges. As a result of this, Neoplan has had to lay off many of its staff over a lack of securing contracts from government and the private sector to boost its operations, and has had to fall on repair and maintenance services, which have led to recurring losses. But President Akufo-Addo, during his just ended 4-day working visit of the Ashanti region, said government was keen on reviving the once vibrant company Neoplan was. The Registrar General's Department has announced that it will, from October 2021, commence processes to delist some 3,100 organizations from its record of companies. The development comes after the RDG had earlier notified the organizations and individual firms to update their records and file their annual returns as mandated by law. A statement issued by the department and cited by Ghana Web explained that the first 3,100 companies to be delisted form part of an overall 100,000 earmarked to be taken off its records by the end of 2021. The delisting process is commencing with 3,100 companies being taken off the company's register by being made inactive in the database. This is the first batch of companies to be delisted this month out of the over 100,000 companies registered since 2011, the statement read in part. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Akoto, has disclosed his intention for the establishment of Grain Development Authority. According to him, he is putting measures to ensure that the authority is created by the first quarter of 2022. He is quoted to have said that, "I am making a submission to Parliament and then go to the Cabinet for the creation of a Grain Development Authority. The authority is to address the current food price fluctuations in the country. Also, funds from the authority would be used to stock the 80,000 warehouses handed over to him during the harvesting season." To our very last story for the day, gold in commercial quantity has been discovered at Nkrumah in the northeast region. Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Samuel Abu-Jinapor, who disclosed this, said the commercial volume is yet to be ascertained. Speaking to journalists after meeting with the Northeast Regional Security Council, Mr. Jinapor said some foreign nationals who are involved in illegal mining there have already been flushed out from the gold deposit site. He said government is taking proactive steps to secure the deposit and also to protect the white and black vaulters from pollution by illegal miners, as happened in other areas. He said the initial assumption that gold is found in the southern part of Ghana has changed. It's a wrap for today's edition of BizTech on Ghana Web TV. Before we go, do log on to www.ghanaweb.com for more stories. Do well to follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Ghana Web. On YouTube, Ghana Web TV. I am Ernestina Sewa Asante. Do have a splendid weekend.